What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol SPY for the S&P 500 ETF. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, this will, of course, be an update. We talk about this market regularly here on this channel, as well as in depth on the main channel. I want to point out a couple of nuances from today's session. The first one would be that we didn't make a new higher high, but we did make a higher low. So that is a little bit noteworthy. Don't construe that as being overly bullish. I want to echo the same sentiment as yesterday, honestly, that we're not going to be overly optimistic or overly pessimistic based on what we're seeing here, right? So sure, we made a higher low. That's a little bit more bullish than bearish, but the fact that we didn't make a new higher high is a little bit more bearish than bullish. And the other thing we could point out is that this is starting to feel like just price acceptance lower, which is starting to become a little bit more bearish than bullish, right? At the low end of this overall move, maybe it pans out to be some sort of bear flag consolidation. We don't entirely know yet, right? So those are the conflicting points that I'm seeing on the daily time frame. Things, and again, I pointed this out yesterday. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but things don't get back to being bullish in the S&P 500 until we can either get back above 450 or cleanly put in some sort of higher low, and then we can use that as the start, the basis of a new uptrend. We just don't have it right now, and there's no reason to be thinking overly bullish in the S&P 500. The other complicating factor that's worth pointing out right now is the fact that at 2 p.m. tomorrow, we're of course going to get Jerome Powell on the microphone for the FOMC press conference. So that's going to throw a wrench in whatever analysis we do here. I have some general thoughts, right? And we'll look at it on the 30-minute time frame here. So if Jerome Powell at 2 o'clock says that everything's status quo, we're expecting the same amount of rate hikes that we had mentioned prior, then the market's going to like that. It's either going to go sideways or maybe slightly higher. If Jerome Powell comes out and says, hey, things are actually not as bad as we think, we're not going to have to hike rates nearly as much as we thought, the market's going to love that, and it should take off to the upside. And then the contrary, of course, is, hey, things are worse than we thought. Obviously, the market will not respond to that very well and probably move either lower or sideways. And the reason I would say sideways isn't as opportunity here is because maybe, just maybe, the market has already been pricing in the worst case scenario. Now, I don't know that for sure. It's just something I wouldn't be surprised at. If he says something that's horrendous and the market doesn't really respond, again, that's probably the reasoning that the market's already pricing in the worst case scenario, right? So that's what I've got for you in the S&P. It's all going to revolve down to what is said at 2 p.m. I would probably be really, really short in terms of, and not short biased, please don't misconstrue that, short time frame in terms of scalping before 2 p.m. And then after 2 p.m., once the dust settles, we can sort of reevaluate the charts and go from there. As of right now, I like what's going on here. We technically have a break and retest. In the post market, we're a little bit underneath that level, around 429. So down here, but again, it's the post market. Obviously, Microsoft earnings are dragging on the broader marketplace right now, the tech sector as well. So we'll see if it can perk back up. But 433 could be a pivot. If we open above and before 2 p.m., maybe there's a move up to these highs of days, and then 2 p.m. comes along and it's either this or this. We don't know. It's going to be a 50-50 shot. Or if we open underneath 433, then it's probably choppy and sideways in this range as the market just holds its breath for whatever Jay Powell will say at 2 p.m. So SPY is kind of a patience play as of right now, and hopefully the evidence on the chart has indicated why. I do want to point out before we move along here, some downside targets just in case it's a complete fall apart meltdown on tomorrow's session. We have 411 coming from, if I zoom in over here, support, resistance, support, resistance, support. You get the gist, right? A lot of touches to that area. And then, of course, the double bottom from in here, close to around 405. Again, maybe the market gets all the way there. I would think that that's a little bit aggressive, especially on top of what we've already been seeing here. But anything is in the cards. The market can always do whatever it wants to do. Those are the levels and those are the scenarios I have for you in the S&P. If you enjoyed the video or learned anything new today, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description. And all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.